Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Mad Realms Talking Skritt. I am your host, Jim, and this is the first show of 2021.
Woo!
2022.
2022.
I didn't even know.
I almost started the whole thing all over again. Yeah, I know. Don't give me that face. It's been 2022. My problem is I was starting thinking of like we celebrated our 7th year anniversary this past November, and this is episode 301. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Celestia, it's normal for me to start things messing up, but it's fine. We've got discussions about the WvW Alliance Beta today, because this was round 3 of it, which was a ton of fun. I actually got to play it for once. We're going to talk about that chart. If you don't know about it, Twitch chat, YouTube chat, we'll talk about it, but if you know, you know. And finally, courtesy of Arlee, we have some sneak peek EoD stuff that she was allowed to share with us. So we'll get to that at the end for some happy news after that chart. So before we get into that, my fellow co-host for today, she writes for MMORPG.com. Say hello to Arlee.
Hi.
That's Arlee. She said hi. And then, finally, our third host coming back from wherever he's been. The one, the only, the punerific, Deo.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. So now that Deo's done his intro, we can just... Arlee?
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Have fun.
Wait, what? No.
But, ladies and gentlemen, to start off with, we just finished up the WvW Alliance Beta number 3 this past week. That is a system where you go ahead and select a guild and set your guild as one of your 5 guilds as a WvW guild, and that guild is assigned to a team. Me and Arlee played an awful lot of WvW this past week. Me and Arlee played last Saturday because we didn't have much to talk about for the show. Then we played Tuesday, and then I played again on Thursday. Now, I will say, both Saturday and Tuesday, there were a lot of fights. And before I kick it over to you, Arlee, and then we can talk more about the Alliance restructuring, Thursdays, usually just the deadest night of WvW ever. It's awful. I hate it. Thursday, I had multiple 3-way Zerg fights that I got to experience. Like it was bonkers. Like there was a whole lot of activity on a Thursday, the last day before, like the last full day before a reset.
Well, even Tuesdays are usually pretty quiet, and we had that too.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say that says something to it. I was gonna say, would you account that for it being the day before reset versus the day before the beta went away and people were
That's a
mad
fair
rushing
point.
to.
I was gonna say there could be multiple contributing factors, but it was the most fun I've had in World versus World in a really long time. It was really.
I mean, I even played on Saturday with.
That's
you guys
right. Yeah,
on
you
Saturday,
joined us,
so.
and we were all drinking probably a little bit too much. Well, maybe not Arlee, but I know I had my drink, and Deo had his drink, because I remember the hold on, wait a minute. But yeah, it was fun. Like there was now we did have one problem because we had several people in our guild who designated Knights of the Dolyak as their WvW guild, and they were put
fine for me and you.
Yeah,
It worked right.
Yeah, but we had a couple.
Yeah, I
people...
even showed the screenshot of mine not errored, but that same issue where I could still select what team I wanted to be on.
Yeah.
Which was a little weird to me. Like I thought that like if you picked the guild, you would get just shoved in with the whole guild would go right on over to that team. But we had
well, it did sound like it was a known issue that they were.
Yeah, I was gonna say from the reading I did, it sounds like there was a bit of a bug that went on that a lot of people experienced, and it wasn't, from what I'm seeing, it wasn't just us where some people were automatically assigned as weren't. That was part of.
Yeah, like Tavik.
You didn't get to play World v World at all because of it?
Well, he got assigned to Skritsburg, a team that we were up against.
Right.
Because it was Titan Step, Seven Pines, and Skritsburg were the three
so
teams in our matchup.
it didn't bug out where he couldn't play.
He could do it. He just couldn't play with us.
Yeah, he'd have been able to run around solo, and which is not super fun for WvW. The only time I ever play WvW is when I'm streaming, because then I can at least talk to chat instead of just following a Zerg around. Or I do it when I'm trying to fall asleep. When I have insomnia, is I'll wake up and I'll do like late night WvW, because generally speaking, that gameplay will lull me back to sleep.
I'm not sure what
Put that on the box. There you go.
World versus World will help you get over insomnia.
Yeah, but I have to say, like, the meme of the alliance system will fix everything aside. I think the alliance system is definitely going to fix participation.
Yeah. I mean, at least, like, depending on how it's set up, it should help mitigate lulls in participation and even things out a bit more.
Yeah.
Is the main thing, I think.
And I honestly, like, OMG, why me? The commander we were following around Tuesday night is who I was following around Thursday night for the whole 2 hours.
Wait, was it? I thought we were following him a bit on Saturday, too.
I actually think we were following him around Saturday, too, now that I think about it.
Because I think when we came in, we're like, oh, look, it's him again.
So does that mean Talking Skrit's officially a stalker now? Like,
unintentional.
Not officially.
Oh, not intentional. Okay.
Accidentally.
Accidental stalking. Just a little bit of accidental stalking. Never hurt anybody. When it becomes intentional stalking, then that's not great. But, but all in all, like, I think I gained 12 levels.
Oh, yeah.
WvW ranks. And I got... You're going to want out of the office now, aren't you? I'm sorry. Talk amongst yourselves. I have to let my cat out.
Okay, well, I mean, like Malthanis is saying, he got 12 levels. You got, I mean, you put another nice chunk of nice dent into your war claw, because you didn't get it fully, correct?
No, I did.
Awesome.
Not on Saturday, I don't think. I got really close on Saturday. On Tuesday, I finished off the reward track and was able to get my war claw. So finally have that. Yay. I'm not a plebe running around on my feet anymore.
Yeah, and I don't... oh, my God.
I mean, like, you can insult people like that, but some people just haven't gone to World v. World that much. I mean...
Okay.
No, I just always felt bad for Malthanis, because he'd be like circling me, being like, "Can you get the buff? Oh my God, can the buff please apply?"
Okay.
Holy shit.
So to extrapolate on Arlee's admittedly really good imitation of my rant, the War Claw, for people who don't know, the WW mount, one of the WW trait points that you can assign to it gives you an aura that will apply a buff to players who are not mounted that let them move at the speed of the War Claw. That buff lasts, supposedly, until they get into combat. I've had it fall off on myself prior to having the War Claw.
It's fallen off me randomly.
You have no idea what the interval is, the range of it, and it seems to be arbitrary, because there have been times where Arlee is running in a straight line and I'm zigging and zagging just to make sure that I'm still within like a 600 to 800 range of her. She's in my party and I'm watching other people who are not in party with me getting the buff around me, and I'm the only person on the War Claw, but she's not getting the buff. It's not great because I can't use it. And it's like the whole design of the buff aura is to be as unintuitive as possible to force people into experiencing falling behind the War Claws to push them to get their own War Claw. Which is not great when WW is open to free account players.
Yeah. It's just... Yeah. It makes trying to play with other people who don't have the thing really, really frustrating. Which is actually why part of why I fell out of World versus World, because so I did it a lot when they were doing the tournaments and stuff, and then around the time gliding got put in, I fell out of it for a bit, and then when I came back, I didn't get back into it because since I didn't have gliding unlocked, I fell behind all the time and it was just not fun. So like having the buff for the war claws helps to mitigate that. But being like there have been so many times where I'll be with a Zerg where people are running and there's like everybody around me has war claws, but I'll fall behind because for some reason I don't get the buff. And it's frustrating. It makes it harder for people to get those things, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not
At least
great.
they did. I mean, I wish they would, like you guys are saying, tweak it more, but at least they did do that with the Warclaw, because, like you said, falling behind without the glider, because there is no, like, skill on there, like, grab your
Right.
guildmate's ankle so you can
I
fly with
know.
them.
Well, and that was the thing because when it was just the gliding, like people would run up to the cliffs and jump off, and you're like, well, okay.
Deo, you say that, and like part of me wishes that there was like formation gliding where you can like right click another glider in air and like link to them. Can you
That would be
imagine like a
hilarious.
whole like linked chain of like flying V gliders coming in WW?
Oh my god.
Flight of the Valkyrie starts playing in the background.
Mhm.
Well, maybe the alliance system will fix it. Which I was thinking about that when we were talking of like we should have had a list of all the stuff that we joked about over the years of like, oh, the alliance system will solve this, and been like, so does it address these?
Well, I mean, it addresses the biggest issue, which is population fluctuation. And as long as like I think they probably need to do a longer beta, like a beta that is for weeks and weeks on end to see how like fluctuation throughout different periods when people are not just logging in just for those weeks because it's beta, how it will address those things because that's a longer term issue. And as long as it can keep up with that, then it will help world versus world feel good.
Yeah, yeah. That and I would assume that there has to be some kind of level of like a little bit of machine learning in a system like this in order to kind of facilitate better spreading players out, if only in like analysis of population fluctuations. So I don't think we're going to see the best of the alliance system from these beta weeks. I mean, yes, they're in beta, so yeah, we're not going to see the best of it anyway. But even if it was like, this is the 0.99 version and we're going to release it next week and we want to do one final beta test just to make sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm also curious how it goes with the figuring out. Like because you pick your guild that you want to be with, but does it just consider the number of people in the guild who pick that guild? Or like does it consider the number of people in total in the guild? Because either way there's some issues which drive with the matching sizes.
Yeah.
Especially like if some people so like say if we hadn't picked a guild before the beta came in, then when we logged in, would we have been able to pick a guild at that time and
I
then have
think
it
at
work?
that point you can just pick a team.
Okay.
But yeah, Geff, the thing with factoring time zone, that would probably involve some machine learning to deal with like population fluctuation. And Arlee, you talking about the guild size? I think because like I mean we have the legacy, how many legacy members from when it was Gamebreaker Nation, the Gamebreaker Nation guild, like people who haven't logged on in literal years. They haven't designated a WW guild, so they won't be taken into consideration for the calculations at the offset.
My concern with that is like if you only count the people who actively pick a guild ahead of time, the numbers can get thrown off if then after the everything is set, they all log in and they pick a team and like rush it. Like I mean
Or just
it
take
takes a certain amount of people for that to be a problem, but it's a potential issue.
I mean, we're looking at returning players in this aspect, but yeah, like use Arlee's example of like, say if it's a new group of people playing, they make a World v World guild. They make a new guild, and it starts. They recruit and they grow. Then like, is that going to throw off whatever that number is? Because yeah, you start out with 6 people, and then everybody recruits. You have 20, 30. It's like
I would hope
definitely
that,
does
like,
change that number.
for the people coming in after the start of the match, if they're given the choice of the guild, if one team is already super stacked, I would imagine that is not a choice available to them.
Well, but then that comes into the problem of what if some of your guild is already and the people you want to play with are already on that team. Now you can't play with your friends.
For that match, at least.
Yeah.
But then if you designate your WW guild, what should happen is the next matchup, you will be in with your guild. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, if it does it like that, that won't be so bad.
Yeah.
But if it's a longer term, you can't play with your friends, that would be a huge issue.
I can only see, because WW matches are only a week. So I can't see anything taking longer than a week to make sure you get on the right team with the people that you want to play WW with.
Hopefully, yeah.
I would hope to see. I don't think we've ever gotten like a full rundown of the logic of the system from ArenaNet.
No, I'm not sure that they will ever give us exactly. Like they might give us some information,
A high level,
yeah. It's one of those things that if they give too much, that people will try to game
the system.
You know?
Yeah, they'll probably give they won't give like the direct flowchart of the code logic, but
which
they can definitely. Yeah, I mean, it would be great to see, but because I would love to see the code behind it, but that's me talking as a developer because I like looking at other people's code.
Yeah.
But a high level explanation of like what happens for like these major case players, because like you talk about that one person who starts playing the game and they don't even have a WW guild, like what happens when they go to WW?
Right.
So,
and I mean, I'm just throwing this out here because I'm not this type of person, but I did see some criticism against the Alliance system, and it's always been the fear of it. And if anybody in chat, live or later on YouTube, or is anybody out there the person that's worried like that it no longer, you don't have the server identity that people were?
We haven't really had server identity for a while though.
Well, I mean, in World versus World you did when it was popular and busy, but as it's died, I feel like that's gone away some way. And I'm sorry, but
I would say it probably died on most servers just because of population, like issues that they're addressing. But I would say some of the probably top tier ones, and probably I always hear on EU servers just because Guild Wars 2 is more popular EU wise. Right. So it's like, is there more of an identity there?
I don't know. It's difficult for me to really see like server pride for anything like question of server identity with outside. Yeah, like Discords, Mumbles, Ventrilos, TeamSpeaks, all of those.
That would change.
Yeah, like by the way, just Mumble, TeamSpeak, and Ventrilo are still used for WW. No, like not everybody has moved over to Discord. It's weird. Yeah. I don't understand it because Discord is free and you don't have to pay for it.
I got yelled at by somebody not that long ago because I didn't want to get on TeamSpeak. Like, I was like,
I don't even know where I would go to find that.
You just Google
like,
TeamSpeak.
I'm not downloading it. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I would Google TeamSpeak and I'd look at the website and be like, this has to be a virus.
Wait, I have to wonder because have they TeamSpeak? Because I can't imagine they've updated their website and it probably still looks like mid 2000s. Nope. I mean, they have updated their website and they've updated their client. It now looks an awful lot like Discord.
Oh, of course.
I'm shocked.
I am not. I don't mean to shade the TeamSpeak developers because you move with the market, but like.
Right. And I will also say, because I think everybody always references this, so before the internet types it in, Discord wasn't the first to do it. Because wasn't it Slack? Didn't they basically rip off Slack? I don't know.
Slack.
I just always heard that reply.
Yeah.
Of like the look of it or something. But
well, it's kind of hard to.
It's different.
Getting into concurrent design stuff, and that's not Guild Wars 2.
I'm just saying we're getting the argument of how WoW was the first MMO.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that is factually accurate.
Alternate facts.
Oh my god. Okay. So before we move on to the next bit,
we're happy they're making World v World great again. Oh my. That was the last one. Maybe.
How much whiskey have you gone through already?
Actually, not that much.
Okay.
But I did pour myself some.
Okay. But okay. So, with WW out of the way, we're going to get to some minorly frustrating news.
I'm going to walk away for this conversation.
I understand why you would do that. because
Now,
we're going to
Dennis,
talk.
I don't know what this is about.
We're going to
What in
talk
the
about
world?
that chart, and here it is. That chart.
Is it related to that shaman? Does he have a
No.
side gig?
So this chart comes from the link I'm going to throw in chat. It'll be on the YouTube description. Guild Wars 2 Wingman, where it is a log upload site, and it measures. I know it's going to be hard to read the things on the bottom, but that's just why I linked the chart. Yes, that chart, Gift.
The things on the bottom are just like what patch. It's
The
essentially
eras,
a timeline.
Yeah, this is the timeline
That
of representation of builds in fractals and raids and endgame PvE content. And
But for that have been uploaded
Yes.
to the logging site.
well, that's the primary issue that and in this happened a lot in the Guild Wars 2 channel of our Discord. This is a self-reporting website. This is not using the API for Guild Wars 2 to pull live information for all fractals. I don't even know if that's available through the API. I don't know if you can scrape that much data. You have to make an account. You have to upload things yourself. I didn't know this website existed.
Me neither.
Now, is this? I guess is this a? Like you said, you make an account. Do they get one vote, or because
It's just
And
when
then I'm
you,
also wondering if they can submit multiple times, they could skew the numbers as well.
well, every time you upload a log for a different encounter,
An
it
angel gets this
ticks.
point. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
It ticks 1 to the spec that you cleared the encounter with, and it also, I'm assuming, it adds the counters for the people in your group as well.
Right.
So if you went into a fractal with a Tempest, a Soul Beast, a Reaper, a Berserker, and a Chronomancer, each one of those would get a point on this chart.
So it could be very skewed. If you had a whole raid of 10
Could
people,
be, is.
and they're submitting, if everybody was submitting one, it would show 100 people.
I would assume that they would have some logic in the back end to account for overlapping
Well, how
stuff.
do they know?
Well, because
Well,
you'd
and-
be able to see the timestamps on everything. And then
Right,
the
and-
group names. And sorry, go ahead, Arlee.
I was gonna say there's the other issue with raids specifically, like when you're uploading, like some people will switch class per encounter, which also adds some more wonkiness to the numbers.
Some people.
There's also
Oh, good.
go ahead.
Oh,
No,
I
I
was
was-
just saying, even people would change even whole characters
Mm-hmm.
for a raid.
Right. And like, there's always the questions of the meta builds and all that, and some things are just better, and the people who are uploading to this are more likely to be the people using the meta things, but just because something's not meta doesn't mean it isn't good and can't do the content and all of that. So that's a whole other level of thing.
Yeah.
But on the whole, like you guys all saw how I feel about it. I hate stack charts in general. But
Yeah,
Sorry.
my problem with the layout of this chart, and before I even get to the data, the layout, there's a gentleman by the name of Mac who frequents our Discord and also our chat from time to time. Mac is a statistician. He loves pie charts. So if you see him in the Discord
I was
and
just gonna
Post
be my
all
one
the
complaint.
pie
yeah,
charts.
send him at
That's gonna be my
him.
one complaint was this needs to be on a pie chart.
Yeah,
I'm
at
just
him
saying.
with pie charts. He'll love you for it. My personal opinion on this chart is they need to nix the designations for this overall chart between core Elite Spec 1 and Elite Spec 2.
Yeah.
This big chart needs to just be class. And
Yeah.
then they would need to have separate charts for each individual class to show the distribution of core Elite 1
Because
and Elite 2.
those are different, like, important points. Like, it's not necessarily important that every single elite spec or is equally representative.
Representative.
Yeah.
Represented. Yeah. But as for the data, the people who will be uploading the logs to this site are people who are, by nature, people who are going to be running meta builds, who will look at the ability to gain an extra 0.5% damage, an extra 0.5% DPS, as something they will absolutely do.
Yeah.
So, being an Elementalist player, the number of comments in the Reddit thread for this chart, which, hang on, I can grab the Reddit thread as well, for people in chat. Copy and paste. The issue is that this is not a reflection of how well a class and or spec is doing. This is a reflection of what high-end PvE content players think of a class spec.
Which can be an interesting metric on its own.
Yes, but it's one of those things where it's like, you look at, like, a lot of people, like, one of the comments that stood out to me a lot is summary from an ArenaNet, fuck Elementalist. And it's just like, no, it's not ArenaNet that said fuck Elementalist. It's the high-end PvE groups that said fuck Elementalist.
Right.
So it's not. It is a chart that was presented with little context in this Reddit thread, and people are taking it to be a global representation of how the game is going.
Right. Yeah.
Granted,
go ahead.
So
No,
granted,
finish your thought.
granted, I do think Elementalist is being outshone because a lot of people just, like, there was an outcry constantly that they just wanted Elementalist to be able to do the damage. And now you can see what happens when all you do is damage. In Guild Wars 2, it's not enough. I play Firebrand on my Guardian. I play a really... a build that a dude from chat gave me. QED, wherever you are, thank you, because I still use the damn build. I'm using Seraph's gear and, like, Rabid plus Dire for the trinkets, just because I'm melee, I need some power and toughness. And I'm also not that good at the game, so I'm going to take hits that I probably shouldn't. Like, I'm doing a crap ton of burning damage. I'm outputting a crap ton of boons. Meanwhile, I'm playing my Elementalist, and all I do is damage. So, like... That's the problem with Elementalist, is that it's been shoehorned into, I do the damages, but it will be pushed out by classes that can do both damage and support in some way, shape, or form.
Well, what I was going to say was, my thing is I don't feel like every profession or every elite spec needs to be the best at every type of content. I think it's fine for some to be the best for raid, some to be the best for people, or world versus world, or whatever. As long as they all have an arena where they really shine. That said, like, all of the specs can perform and do really well in all of the types of content. It might be a little bit harder. You might have to be a little bit better of a player to make it work, but it is doable. And I think that is also good. And this is my old rant of, like, some people are just way too focused on whatever is meta. And that creates a whole other, like, slew of issues in the game.
I can't remember who was talking about it, but it was people complain about raiding in Guild Wars 2 being dead, and it's not ArenaNet that killed raiding, it's raiders that killed raiding.
Yeah, there are so many people I see, like, just this last week, I saw somebody who was talking about they tried to get into raiding, but they were just constantly met with, like, oh, you need to be this build to be in, or this class, or whatever, and they couldn't even get in to learn the first steps, start that, and it's just depressing, because all you're doing is forcing, like, people who could potentially be amazing out, because you won't even, like, get them the first steps in.
Which is funny, because then I hear a lot about, like, fractal groups who will pick up new players and just be like, oh, we'll teach you how to play. So it's like, it's weird to me that, like, the second you bump it to 10-man and slap the name raiding on it, it's just like, why does this attract people who are, like, elitist about it? I don't...
Do you think that's why they're, like, wanting to focus on strikes and call them strikes instead of...
Maybe.
So I don't necessarily think that that's the choice that they've made, essentially. I think there might be other things going on. But one of the things that they said originally with raids is that they're not going to be a core part of the story because they don't want people who don't want to raid to miss out on the story. And one of the things they're doing with strikes now is they're making it a core part of the story. So if they did that with raiding, it would be going back on a promise they made a long time ago, and it would really change
I
a
mean,
number.
didn't that ship already sail when they were like, we're not going to put big story plots in there? And
No,
I mean, it was
so
the return of the Mersat.
we conflate big story points and main story. They said that they will not put the main story in there. So like you cannot play it and still understand what's going on. There is extra story that you might consider important, but it's up to everybody to decide for themselves. But like it's not the main story of the game.
I seem to remember us having this conversation, Deo. It was just like the raid dealing with the Mersat, like wings. What that was 1 through 3 dealing with the Mersat.
Mm-hmm.
Like that wasn't big to me. Like it was kind of big because I realized it was like a large influence on the main story, but because I didn't play Guild Wars 2, it wasn't a huge deal to me.
Right.
So, like
it expands the story.
Then also to more to Arlee's point is no one is ever referred to as the commander in any of the raids. So it's not main story.
Yeah.
If somebody mentions the commander, it's main story. But you are like a group of mercenaries, effectively, in the raid.
Yeah, I think they talk about like an elite. Like I think this was the wording they used in like the first raid was like they sent in an elite squad,
an elite pack group or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A group of adventurers, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's more to the chart. It's a cool chart. I mean, I'm good. All props to Guild Wars 2 Wingman, because from the data that they had, this is a cool visualization of the logs that they've received.
Yeah.
I have zero issues with any of that, but people are definitely taking way too much out of this.
Yeah, which I mean, that's not a Guild Wars 2 problem either. No. You see it with every game that has information like this available. People try to extend it way beyond where it actually applies.
And with chat, I would say like the mentality with dungeons, I feel like that always strayed to speedrunning.
Oh yeah, the dungeons had a huge problem with speedrunning. Well, once they nerfed them. So originally when the game came out, the dungeons were pretty hard, and people got pissy about it and weren't unhappy. So they nerfed them, and then people were like, "Oh, well, now we can speedrun them." And if you didn't want to speedrun it, then fuck you.
Yeah, like it was assumed you were like. Because I remember there was a couple times where we needed one other person, so we, joined the thing, and we would get one other person in an RLFG. We never mentioned speedrunning or anything. They're yelling at a group of 4 that you can clearly see all the same tag. It's like I can understand if we said it was speedrunning or anything like that, but no, they were just trying to like pull everything and then complaining when they died.
Hey, yell at us. Why would you want to spend more time in here than you need to? It's like, we're having fun.
Because we're not trying to like clear everything super quick. We're just trying to like chill and hang as a guild. Which
in the end, it's like, in case people are saying like, I have no problem with speedrunners as long as the things are clearly, marked.
As long as everybody agrees that that's what they want to do.
Like that's the thing is, I'm not a speedrunner. I don't like to speedrun.
Well, even then, like when dungeons were just easier, the thing was people were solo speedrunning. That's why I never understood where people were like, so you're not good enough to solo speedrun, but you're gonna force other people to speedrun.
The other thing that happened in dungeons that was a huge thing for a while was that regardless of what you were playing and how you were set up, how you had your build set up, people wanted you to stack on the thing. Like, don't try to play at range. Don't try to be out. Like, that that was a whole other level of issue. And I get the reasonings why people wanted that, but that also created problems where people didn't want to go into dungeons because they wanted to play like how they wanted to play, you know?
And also, we couldn't reflect bears.
Wow. Still can't reflect bears.
But I still remember that guild mission, Deo. I can recall that moment clear as day in my head. You throwing up that reflect wall and that bear just sailing on through.
Yep, I was all ready to giggle to watch that bear go right back, and it went right in my face.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bears.
But do we have any further talks on the chart? Because I want to get to more interesting news.
No.
it's colorful.
It is colorful.
Unless you want to hear me rant about why I don't like stacked charts.
We can do that post show. We can talk about stack charts post show.
Okay.
Thank you for the follow, Soft as Pup. Appreciate it. So, I suppose we were talking about guild stuff, and we could always talk about guild halls,
Guild Hall!
which we can talk about the Isle of Reflection,
Yay!
which thanks to Arlee for her having journalistic inside knowledge.
Acumen.
The Isle of Reflection is the new End of Dragons Guild Hall, which I'm glad I have the 100 gold saved up, because we're probably going to go grab this one, just so we can look at the shiny new particles for the Guild Hall. Because, admittedly, Lost Precipice is kind of dusty. Not my favorite.
So pretty, but yes, it's dusty.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, isn't the Isle Reflection supposed to be the Xingji the outside
Monastery.
part of the Xingji?
Yeah.
Xingji Monastery.
Yeah, that was what they said when they announced it on the live stream a while ago. That it's supposed to be like a big Guild Wars 1 area. Mm-hmm. Which because I wasn't a huge Guild Wars 1 player, I never got here.
I know.
You got people fishing in their guild hall, which, it's kind of cool that you'll actually be able to hang out and, like, do stuff in the guild hall that doesn't, like, if you want to fish but you don't want to deal with other players, you can just hang out on your skiff and fish in the guild hall.
Mm-hmm. But no, like, I absolutely love this. It's just gorgeous. It feels like it's set up in a way that is easy to get around, even though it's... Yeah.
Oh, Xingji was the tutorial area in Factions. Okay. Then I definitely experienced that area.
Okay. I was going to say, to be fair, you could miss that if you came from one of the other campaigns.
Yeah, I was going to say, I never started there or did anything there, so I've never...
Yeah, I've started
The
many
chat's also
Guild Wars 1
saying that they
characters.
thought maybe they said it was the final Factions mission, but wouldn't that... Like I said, I don't know where they said the location is. It's been a while since But the last area in Factions, that would have been on the mainland, so...
I honestly don't know. Again, I can't remember what they said when they announced the Isle of Reflections the first time when they announced it. Clearly, they want you to use the turtles here, or people are just using turtles because turtles.
I mean, if you have a...
Well, if you got... Softest Pop, if you got to the end of Factions, you got way farther than I did, and I definitely... I mostly just created new characters in Guild Wars 1.
Same. I essentially made a character, ran around for a little bit, was like, I can't jump. Log.
You can jump.
You can jump. / jump.
And no! It is not the same. Like, literally,
Make a macro, so it's just one button.
And you can't do that. No. But also with the Isle of Reflection, it has, as you can see, this whole like water area where you can move around on the skiffs and stuff, which was really cool to see like those in use. It was a lot of fun. Fishing, I think they have a really cool idea. I don't really like how it's set up right now. It was just a little unintuitive. I had trouble. But...
Arlee got to play this stuff. There's still stuff she's not allowed to talk about.
That's true.
Which I won't needle her, because as much as I like watching her do the laugh giggle as I just shout random stuff, I don't want to push it too hard. I don't want her to get in trouble.
Yeah.
How does Abaddon look?
There is no Abaddon.
Ooh. Oh. Oh God, she was able to just sling that out. Bye, Deo. But I have to say, the thing that I like watching this, and the thing that I don't think either of the other three guild halls really did a great job of, is the color in Guild Wars 2. The saturation of color in Guild Wars 2 to the point where, like, the red paint on the walls versus the lush green of the ground. Like, Gilded Hollow is the only one that I think got close to it. And I think that's
I was gonna say the other ones really
gold
don't.
everywhere.
Right,
Well, I was gonna say I think that's what allowed for coloring to it. But it was also underground kind of cave. The other one was a canyon
Ruins-
desert. The other one
ruins
was a
on
desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the three guild halls that exist in the game really don't showcase just how vibrant the world of Guild Wars 2 can be. It's just that shot of them standing on the bridge. That is
fantastic.
That's it. Like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I like to see there. Is just like, it looks surreal. And I think that's a perfect example of even like with the cherry blossom trees with the pink and then like the grass, like, it just, all the contrast is fantastic. So I'm looking forward to taking this guild hall and seeing what we can do with it. And then also seeing Red Wolf build a staircase to the highest point on the map, because that seems to be something Red Wolf does every single guild hall, which I don't blame him for.
I also really, really like that they purposely put time and effort into designing the capture of this guild hall to be better for small guild, because that has been a issue with the other ones, because usually you have concentric encounters you have to do and you have to get through them really quickly, and if you only have a few people, that can be a real issue. This one, they said specifically they tried to make it so that it was more encounter focused, more than like ambush overrunning kind of feel.
Okay.
So,
so that's tabbing
guilds,
the stairs. Okay.
Yeah. So guilds can focus more on the individual encounters they need to do, more than trying to spread out and get everything.
I like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Any further thoughts on this marvelous footage? I think I gushed enough about the environment design.
No, I'm curious to see the nooks and crannies. And
I was going to say, if we are not capturing this the moment End of Dragons goes live, we have done something wrong.
I don't know if we'll be able to pull it off.
Well, I was to say,
what EoD goes live,
I'm curious story-wise, where's it located? Because didn't you have to make it to the...
Yes.
Yeah.
And at least in POF, that was in the last, or like second to last zone.
That's one thing we didn't cover at all. We just literally were all transported there. So I don't know at what point in the expansion we'll be able to get it, but...
Yeah. I hope it's in the first zone.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Okay. Oh, we haven't done the further exploration, so Tava can't get to the highest point in Lost Precipice. I suppose I'm going to have to reinstate guild mission nights so we can actually do the research stuff necessary to unlock everything, which, only took us... When did Heart of Thorns release?
Well, you guys wouldn't do Lost Precipice until you did all the other ones for some reason.
Because it's dusty.
We did it in order of best.
But
no.
We move on for that. We have a little spoiler. A little bit of spoiler, because we're going to strike mission stuff.
True.
So just a little bit.
It's limited spoilers.
Yeah. I'm not playing the audio. There's a little bit of audio. Arlee said it was only, game noises, so there's not there's any voiceovers. But we have stuff on the new strike mission.
Yay.
The Aether Blade hideout.
The Aether Blades are back. Ah!
Yeah, that's first and foremost is something that I'm pretty happy about, because steampunk sky pirates, how do you not keep that aesthetic going?
Yeah.
Constantly, except the Aether Blade armor. Let's not talk about the Aether Blade armor at all. Ever.
Okay.
Why?
I'm
It looked okay if you were like a medium wear.
And now I'm thinking
The
about
heavy
the head,
looked a little bit weird, like
the
the
cog
biker
shoulder
helmet type thing.
the giant cog shoulder. Ugh. But
Yeah.
yeah. So it's looking like we're fighting my Trin.
Mm-hmm.
And I there's some Bloodstone stuff going on.
Kind of. Well, it looks like Bloodstone. I don't know if it is actually Bloodstone or if there's something else going on. That was the one thing. We did the 10-person version, which is just the fight and all the mechanics and stuff without the story stuff.
Okay.
So we don't know, like, why we're fighting her.
Oh, so you did
what
like
happened.
the hot join, like
Yeah.
public version. Okay.
Yeah, essentially. So yeah, it was a really interesting fight, and like I said, I know why you say it looks like Bloodstone, but I'm not 100% sure it is actually Bloodstone. It might be something else.
And it could also be the Aetherblade tech that was Inquest Red. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because it was
like
the
chat's
Pirates.
saying it like the name. I mean, I think they were trying to entice people with the Aetherblade, because that is a name that if you're playing the game would know. But Retreat, I think it's fitting because last we knew
They retreated.
my Trin ran off somewhere and we're like, where did she go? So hopefully there's like, because we knew she ran into the mists. So I'm wondering if we find out something like maybe how she popped
there's
out
some-
into here. Or
You're talking about the mist. Now that you're saying that, I'm seeing some kind of like mists particle effects on some of the attack abilities going on here. So that might be like it's some awful Revenant-esque looking stuff now that I'm looking at it. So maybe she found something weird in the mists. That and like Aetherblade Hideout minus any context of story. Yeah, it's gonna sound like generic and kind of lazy. So I get that. It's difficult for me to really say too much minus context here.
Right. Well, and I think it's interesting too that this is the one that they showed us, because there will be 4 at launch. So this is obviously the least spoilery of them.
Okay.
I would be surprised if people actually knew, if someone said my Trin, if they would know who that was that played Guild Wars 2. Like, I think people would know Aetherblade before my Trin.
Yeah, she hasn't been a major character for
a long while.
Season 1? Did she even have a place in Season 2?
I don't think she was part of Season 2 at all, but we had the Fractal, I think.
Well, the Fractal that was based off of the actual...
The fight.
Right.
Or the... But yeah, that was the only time she was a main character. Otherwise, she just ran off after the whole Scarlet thing.
Essentially what I'm saying is, like, I think anybody who missed Season 1 would only know her from the Fractal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really.
They'd be like, oh, that's the lady that yells, Horus!
I know. Hey, he was not in the fight, so...
Well, I mean, doesn't he canonically die?
Yeah, but you know how things happen sometimes.
Or she found another Horus in the mists.
Horus too!
Maybe we go here because she's trying to summon Horus from the mists.
Oh my god.
His mist spirit.
He comes through and
she unknowingly summons Abaddon.
I was going to say he inexplicably has tentacles.
Yeah. Good guy.
Like, I understand, Ryuichi, softest pup. I get it. Like, it is kind of a generic name minus context. So I get that's not it's valid criticism. I think it's very valid criticism. And again,
do we? I mean, maybe we'll have to address this after it launches, because I don't know if we've had an example of Guild Wars 2 doing it, but other games leading up to it have a fake name, so they don't.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I'm also not entirely sure this is actually what it's called either, because by the name it is, again, like, very generic, but it also avoids any kind of spoiler.
My Trin's Revenge. I actually, that actually,
can Can that go into Lion's Arch since it already feels like a themes park? Like aesthetic.
Calling it My Trin's Revenge actually leans pretty hard on the pirate aesthetic. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I won't say that's not a bad. I won't say that's a bad idea. But that's I'm looking forward to dealing with it. And it's possible they are still workshopping the name. Mm-hmm. Get residuals every time somebody runs a fractal. You get one loot bag from My Trin every time a successful fractal completes. You're set for the rest of the game.
Yeah. There is also more in the fight. One thing that I can't wait for people to see is actually something that I specifically mentioned to Colin and Izzy way back in Heart of Thorns as something that would be cool to see is a thing in this fight. So,
well, that's cool.
I'm excited for everybody to see the whole fight, and I'm excited to see what the story is, because having seen the fight now, I'm like, okay, explain it.
I'm definitely intrigued, especially since, like you said earlier, about the whole avoiding the. We were wondering if that's why they're avoiding the term raid versus if this more closely utilizes a story, like the main story.
Oh, the Strikes.
The
Starks.
It's Marvel now.
Marvel, or
we're going
is it
north to the wall?
Or is it Game of Thrones? Yeah.
Who knows? No.
Both. Disney bought A-Net, confirmed.
Strikes in this are completely in the story. You cannot complete the story without doing it. It's a single person version with all the storyline in it.
Okay.
And that's where all the story is, which is good because it also means that when you do the 10 person, you're not, how some of the other strikes you've been stuck waiting for story things that you've seen about 1,000 times to complete.
And then it just isn't there. Okay.
Yeah.
That was going to be my worry as soon as you said that, because that was a big problem with the core game. Because the story would go through dungeons, but I'm glad you said, they give you a solo instance version.
What with it was kind of like the fight with Almora in that one Iceberg Saga bit. Is she was effectively a raid boss with raid indicators and everything.
Yeah.
So I could definitely Iceberg Saga is kind of heralding this. I'm cool with that.
I'm kind of I'm sad that I didn't get that. There's we were limited on time and there were so many questions to ask. I didn't ask them about if they have it set so that for people who like to play the storyline with somebody else, if they have it set so that the personal version of the strike mission will allow the other person to have an active role as well. Because there have been issues in the past with missions where whoever your extra person is just kind of stands around I can't do anything.
Or even worse, what was it, the Shining Blade one, where they're like, go into the balcony.
Yeah.
Oh,
watch.
No, the one where I was forced to throw grenades, because me and Arlee recently read this on our Living Story replay. The one where I was just, it was the attack in the woods, where you had to just keep fighting off, who were the assholes that were with the Mersat?
We just did this and I forgot.
White Mantle?
The White Mantle. Thank you, Deo.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was blanking on White Mantle.
Don't worry. They talked about them in a raid, and it's not important content.
Yeah, it's not important. But I originally, when I did that with Krista running the instance, I just was on a balcony and I had grenades I could throw. This time through, I was actually on the ground with Arlee as the instance owner. And then the second fight, which is kind of like a raid boss fight, I had the ability to cheer her.
Yeah.
Which was a buff.
Which helped. It made a big difference. Yeah.
So
please tell me were you guys streaming it? Please tell me you did it on the mic too. You're like, woo, go Arlee.
I did. I actually was like, yay Arlee when I clicked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You couldn't set it to autocast though, which was disappointing.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm hoping that they have thought about that and they're taking it into account, since it has been an issue in other instances in the past, and it would really suck to run into this with somebody
to
and
just
then
be like sidelined. And Softest Pup brings up a good point. Is like the commander has been through a ton of crazy shit. Has died at least once.
Say,
I can
a couple
recall.
times, I think.
Like, I don't know if we've gotten multiples, but like one legit, a god killed us.
right.
We went to the underworld and
We had
came
to
back.
walk across Snake's Way. Wait, I think I'm mixing them up.
Yeah, wrong afterlife. We don't have senzu beans. Don't worry.
Yet. Come on, we're going to Cantha. Give us some senzu beans.
I mean, if there isn't a Canthan food reference to senzu beans, I'll be shocked. But or at least some Dragon Ball reference somewhere. But being able to go a little more all out in story instances, is gonna make sense. Like with all the crazy shit that we've dealt with, it makes sense.
Yep.
But
A sensu bean that locks your health at 9,001.
any further comments on the footage here from the strike?
I'm definitely intrigued, especially from what like Arlee was saying of like the changes that they're, addressing, and kind of like what Chat was saying, utilizing the resources in a smart way. Because on top of this, it's like if it is the same fight, it also takes down that barrier that hopefully more people get into strikes, because you might be learning the mechanics.
Right, because if you
Right.
do the story, you already know the mechanics. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Or at least the base mechanics. I don't know
Yes.
if there's differences in like how the fight progresses on story versus the regular instance one.
That is true. You would probably want it to increase in some, because you don't want to just be like it does more damage, because then it's boring to the other the higher achieving players.
But yeah, excited.
Okay. Well, then that lets us segue rather nicely with more ridiculous stuff into talking about the Aurene legendary weapons. Because legendaries are always super ridiculous, right?
Yep. Flashy flash.
Wow, that is a rifle.
I know, right?
That thing had like pigtails or something going on. Like it had a flop to it.
Yeah.
I really like on the staff one, you'll see it in a second. It looks like the person is like throwing out crystals. I thought that was a cool effect.
The particle effects are cool. Yeah, there it is. And he even like slows it down so you can see that. Yeah, there
like
it is.
you can really see what's going on. I thought that was nifty. That's a different, I feel like it's a different way of using the magical staff.
Now I wonder what happens for the people that use staff as a melee.
Oh, interesting.
Probably the same kind of strike effects for the other melee weapons. I'm hoping that they're not done. Because those two spiders die. Like I'm not seeing kills here. I don't know if those two spiders die. I think those are just hit animations with like the big white starbursts. They were talking about the like unsheath animations, the kill animations. I'm not seeing footfalls. I'm not seeing anything other than like glowy arms for like the arm effect. At the moment from this video,
I don't know if it's because they're in the attack animation. When that guy was with his staff, his whole like arm had a sparkle glow effect on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the power going through them or what have you. Or
well, and also about the footfalls, if you look at them, none of them are moving around. They're all standing still, attacking. So, and that's the thing I wish I had noticed, because I was using weapons in the test we got to do, but like I don't remember if there were footfalls or not when I was around. There were so many other things I was paying attention to that it didn't even occur to me, you know?
Yeah.
You never had a chance to see the footfalls. You're always on the turtle.
True. That is true.
Arlee is a turtle, a turtle advocate. So
yeah. The other thing was that I don't recall there being any sound effects with these, which I don't know if they're not going to have sound effects, but like I feel like some of them at least look like they should have some kind of sound effect.
Yeah.
Like you would expect they would.
Like kind of like the like chime sounding like crystal kind of
Yeah.
shimmer sounds. Yeah. I'm I can't say I'm terribly impressed.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, I like them.
they look pretty,
Uh-huh.
but I think this is a definitive downgrade from the Gen 1 and 2 legendaries.
You think?
Yeah. As of right now, because obviously like there's no footfalls that we can see because nobody's moving.
Right.
Nothing's dying, so we're not seeing the like kill animations that they talked about. Nobody's unsheathing the weapons because they're already actively in combat, so we're not seeing the unsheathing animations that they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not a good, I don't think this is a good showcase for these. At the moment, it looks like a showcase for Black Lion weapons.
Yeah. That's fair.
Like chat saying we're only seeing style 1 since there's.
I'm still not a huge fan of the style change thing either, but that's. I mean, the ship has sailed on that, and it's not like I ever had the ability to affect change on that in the first place. And I can also say that, like, I'm probably not going to keep these at all if I get one of them. I won't keep the skin.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's fine.
Okay,
because...
maybe the dagger. Maybe the dagger.
It's just weird that since these are like Areen like weapons. Like as you see the staff or the rifle, like we were talking, like I was feathery bits earlier. Yeah, why feathery? Or like when the Char was shooting the bow, it's just like flopping feathery. I'm like,
yeah, I'm not getting the feathery bits. Like
it just seems like it flopped. It's not super. There's a flop
see.
to them. Yeah,
it's like a magical tail essentially.
Okay,
it's
so it's like
real
wisps of energy.
Yes. It's like seeping out energy.
But she doesn't have that motif on her.
Well, granted, all she does is sit in the Hall of Monuments now. She doesn't really move. Maybe if she starts moving, we'll see.
Okay. she kind of has a little. I just posted the screenshot of Areen in her final form. Like she kind of has like a little bit of like the aura coming out of the back of her neck, but even then, that doesn't look like the weapons. Like that just looks like it's diffuse magic coming off of her.
Maybe in an End of Dragon, she absorbs more energy, becomes uber dragon, and
I was just gonna say
not feathery magic.
I would say not to go back to the Dragon Ball Z reference, but you said final form. Do we know that this could be Super Saiyan Areen 2?
So that isn't. I know that isn't even her final form.
No.
Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Areen.
I mean, the picture even linked. She has short yellow hair. Super Saiyan 3, she's gonna have long hair.
Maybe what happens is her and Kunavane get together and they do a little dance. They become one.
Oh, the Kunavareen?
Yeah.
Arenavang?
Arenavang.
I don't know. Like but looking at these, like I think the reason I like the dagger is it's the one with the minimal amount of floppy feather magic.
True.
Yeah, I'm not terribly impressed.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of that is that this isn't a great showcase of them, of the things that they're changing, like what makes a legendary weapon.
I lean also towards the fact that I don't think they're 100% done, because when we were running around in the big group and everybody was killing stuff, like literally everybody was using the legendary weapon, you would expect to see like killing blow all over the place, craziness. And I don't remember seeing any of that. So I'm not sure if they're like not quite fully implemented in there yet. They just wanted to give us like a taste of what they were, basically.
Yeah. Then I honestly think that the trails on the weapon strikes are a little much.
Yeah.
Like they complete, like especially the dagger, like because you can see that when the Char rogue comes in with like it's like a dagger too, like the leap strike. Like the character is almost completely obscured by the particle effect. Now, granted, that's probably minus the particle occlusion that you get on other players.
Right.
Because, like, if you ever look at the fireball effect from staff on an elementalist for yourself versus somebody else. It's particle for the fireball is teeny tiny.
Yeah.
Right here. That jump attack from the char.
Right.
And then even like some of the slow-mo from this bit here for this other dagger attack. And it's just like that weapon trail is like so blinding. And I like, that's cool.
She's used to it. She has the dreamer.
Crystal.
It's true. That's also fair.
Like crystal dragon, the whole prismatic thing. I get it. It's just like this is not selling me on anything more than a Black Lion weapon set, and that's it right now. A Black Lion weapon set that we can get in game, which I think is cool. Which,
yeah,
I mean, we can get the regular Black Lion weapon set in game because people sell the skins, but like through
it's not the same
as like it. You get it through effort in game, not buying it off the trading post.
Right.
I'm not. And I'm gonna like give them the benefit of the doubt and like your professional opinion that they're not fully implemented yet, and that's fine. I can wait, but I'm not impressed yet.
They're not fully implemented yet. Does that mean they're gonna push it back? We don't have a date. Oh no, it's not coming out. Am I playing the internet good?
If they push the date of the release back, I have zero problems with that.
Yeah.
Or okay, the one thing pushing things back. Were you allowed to talk about any elite specialization stuff?
Well,
No.
I can. I can talk about. I got to run around on the Untamed. That's what I chose for the preview, and I got to use the Phoenix and the Siege Turtle pet.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you happy with both of those? I won't ask specifics because that would
you
be
want to
weird.
keep the legendary thing running, or
I mean, I suppose we can switch over to the like we can do that. It's fine. Or we can wait until after the last video to talk about.
Well, I can just throw it out. I mean, I didn't. We were doing so much. I didn't have much time to like really delve into it. But the Phoenix was really cool. I really liked it. It was nifty. But I mean, of course, my favorite was Siege Turtle pet. Holy shit. First of all, this guy is adorable. Secondly, he runs around on your speed. So like you're running around and his little feet are like it's hysterical. Like literally we literally went into the strike mission and I was running back and forth while they were telling us and I was like, "Oh my god." And everyone was like, "He's moving so fast." It was really fun. One of his abilities is he puts up a big green.
Are you allowed to talk about abilities?
They didn't say not to, so one of his abilities is he puts up a big green dome that will protect whoever's like where he is. So if you're working at range, it won't protect you, but if you're melee and you're with him or you pull him back, he'll protect you. It was really cool looking. It worked well. There's some variability in use for it, so that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
Now, I'm not going to ask specifics, but did Untamed get changes from the last time you played it? That you could remember?
There were none that I noticed from playing it. Aside from the changes they made going into the last beta.
Into beta 4. Okay.
Yeah. I really don't like the change. Like, I know I'm the only one who liked thing on the person, but I really don't like how it happens and it goes away.
I kind of wish personally it was like a little Vine graphic that kind of like floated around like at waist height or at your feet.
Yeah.
Just so you could tell who the power was on. Kind of like a herald has their active auras at their feet, so you can tell what's going on.
Right. Yeah, that was my main thing that bothered me was I know it's what a lot of people wanted, but I don't like how you get the thing and then it goes away when you're on. It bothers me. I feel like there should be some persistent indication.
It would definitely be better for readability. Because especially in PvP, being able to tell, the Soul Beast is the Untamed is the one who has the Unleash. So you didn't play Catalyst. You couldn't tell me. You couldn't tell me if there was anything new with Catalyst.
No, they gave us our choice of classes.
Why would you do this to me, Arlee?
Since I had spent so much time on Harbinger, I decided not to go with Harbinger, and I thought about Catalyst, and I was like, I'm not doing that to myself, so I did Untamed.
I want to enjoy my time.
Yeah.
Oof. Oof.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I really don't like Catalyst.
That's okay. That's okay. Gift and I will suffer until release.
But did you notice when you were directly asking her about like the profession and how it was playing, she kind of like diverted your attention to the other stuff? It was like a proper shell game.
Yay.
See, that's what this show has missed, Deo. The Deo puns.
Yep, expert puns.
But, so I guess we can move to the final video. A little preview of the WvW Wilds.
Yeah.
Which, it's a whole event.
Yeah, this is a preview of the event. We got to play this event in the preview. So it was really cool. This is the first part is us. Well, not us, but the first part is you attack the gates, break in. And that's the one where, like, players will probably get there before they get their turtles because it's an early thing. So there are NPCs around who you can hop in and use their cannon to blow it up if you don't actually have siege turtle yet, which is nice. The NPCs aren't great about moving around to refill the ammunition, but whatever, it works.
So they're bringing WvW to PvE.
Basically.
Well, they have been. I do remember them saying they were thinking about putting the siege turtle into WvW.
That would be cool.
They're thinking about it. So obviously, you probably wouldn't get the boost or the speed boost like for walking in a straight line, because that would be horrifically broken in WvW. But
yeah, they would have to make some changes to it, but it would be cool to have.
Yeah. Can you still spam out all of the siege turtle shots in like half a second?
I drove mostly on.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. From what I was seeing, like, I don't know if people just didn't know that was a possibility and weren't trying, or if, like, they fixed. I think it's fine. They changed. They might have changed it, but I don't know.
It's definitely not fine.
I think it's totally fine because you have a limited amount of ammunition, then it has to recharge. Totally fine.
Yeah, and then you can just drop like a crazy amount of damage and 20 stacks of burning on somebody in and also like break bar in less than half a second. So yeah.
But everybody riding on a siege turtle can do that, so it's balanced.
Not against the encounter.
Give the encounter a siege turtle.
Yeah.
Admittedly, this idea of like marching a line of siege turtles against a fortification, I'm looking forward to playing this.
Yeah.
It
was
cool.
Really cool. Yeah, and this wasn't even part of the meta event. Like, I don't even know what the map meta is. This is just a side event that happens on the map.
Are we going to see meta maps like Heart of Thorns for everything? Are we going to see all exploration maps? Or are we going to see a mix of both?
I didn't get into that, but from what they were saying, I think there's going to be... I think they're striking more of a balance in doing both maps. So having meta events, but also being able to explore and like get that. I think my impression is that they're doing more of a balance between the two instead of going so hard either way.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely perfect. And yeah, you're right, Gift. The scale on this is just amazing. Like coming up against this giant gate with all, like, I'm assuming the things in the green orbs are what you were aiming at.
Yeah, you're
and also
like
those big like golden cube things with what looks like some kind of power coupling in there for the gate.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic because then after this you go all through the fort, fighting your way through all the machines and everything to get to like find out what's going on. So
that's really cool.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I wonder if like something like this to introduce some kind of variability, like if you're walking through a trench with the turtles, they could change like the locations of barriers to kind of divert where you need to go.
That would be cool.
I don't know if they're gonna do that, but like having some kind of a little bit of variance in the way the events function, other than just like, because we all know like events that we've done a ton of, we know where the spawn locations are for the enemies.
Right.
You know where the enemies are coming from, and even if you don't know where the enemies are coming from, there's somebody else at the event who does, and you can just follow that knot of players that moves to where the next wave is going to spawn in.
Right.
So
this was cool too, though, because there were a couple of points where the group had to split to do different things at the same time. So that was kind
of... Okay.
Yeah.
That's nifty. So, yeah, like, any final thoughts? Looking at this.
The Echo Ball Wilds in general, when we were running through it, reminded me a lot of Verdant Brink. And I think it might be some similarity between like First Zone kind of vibes. Okay. But it's very green in general because like you're in this giant forest thing, and some of it's still petrified, some of it's not. Like it's getting back out of the petrification. And then you have the Jade Brotherhood, who's been building up like a lot of Jade tech in areas. So it was really interesting. I think they had some stuff hidden from us because there were a couple of areas where it's like there might be things, should be things, there weren't things. That's just my opinion. I don't know. But it looked like I just wanted to spend like hours wandering around the map exploring. It looked really interesting.
Well, that's great to hear. Oh god, now.
I mean, like, are you just saying like theme alone, or are you saying they're really like that? We're seeing like a verticality, probably not as much as Verdant Brink, but
there seems to be some verticality to it. Okay. Absolutely, yeah.
Because I would say, oh god.
I was just gonna say we didn't really do much with that. We were just running along through the map to Fort Aspenwood, but just looking around, it looked like there was a lot of verticality and a lot of different places you should be able to get to explore and do different things.
Because I will admit that the lack of verticality in the release path of fire maps, I wasn't a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Like I actually found myself missing the Heart of Thorns maps because it felt like there was more to them. A lot of the release path of fire maps just felt like big open spaces that were big open spaces for the sake of, oh hey, you can run around on your mount. And this is why you want to run around on your mount, because you have to traverse this giant map.
Right, which was also interesting because some of the criticism of Heart of Thorns was there was too much verticality.
Well, yeah, in order to enforce the whole gliding. Tangled Depths is probably the worst of it.
Yeah.
Verdant Brink wasn't awful. There were only some things that were like super low down on the map that you had to like find, but
true.
Yeah, I find myself missing that extra layer of complexity on the map, if only because I feel like it gave them a lot more room to design around. So it's nice to hear that they're at least bringing a little bit of that back.
Yep. I don't know what the other maps will be like.
Okay.
So, but this was like I said, this was a great first taste. I really want expansion now. I want to go wander around and do things.
And it's delayed until October 2022. Sorry.
No.
Oh man, you threw that out there. Oof.
Oh yeah, I just yeah. I was like, oh no, wait, sorry, we meant February 2023.
Oh my God, stop it.
But is there anything else that we didn't really cover, like from your playtest that you're allowed to talk about that you wanted to bring up?
I don't think so.
Like Abaddon.
I told you there's no Abaddon.
She already shut you down on that, Deo.
I'm sure they went to her and said, "Look, I know he's gonna ask you." Just...
Look, I already actively asked Bobby one time at a bar in Boston, and he said,
that was great.
Said no, and I'm sorry. I mean, he's on the table technically.
Bobby's such a kidder.
But okay, so it sounds like what you got to play was really fun, and if that's the stuff that, like, all in all, like the stuff that I saw, all great except for the legendary weapons, but like I'm willing to wait for release. You have any
Yeah.
thoughts you'd want to bring up on any of the videos, Deo, Arlee?
Definitely intrigued. Like, I mean, from what everybody's talked about, I think the artwork, like the teaser images, definitely like, because you see like the concept art stuff. Like, what was it, the first teaser image that was the Shinji Monastery like archway,
Right.
and it's like, oh, look how colorful it is. It's like, yeah, but then you get in a game, but I mean, like we were seeing with like the Guild Hall and like these different environments, it definitely is hitting that. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, everywhere we went, it was very vibrant and a lot of variety in colors and stuff. Like Ekavold was a lot of green, but there was still like a lot of variation, you know.
Well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that sounds like we've had a really good end to the show, looking at some End of Dragon stuff, which is very nice to have after that chart. So I think that means we get to move into outro time. So Arlee, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Arlee82.
Awesome. And Deo, where can they find you?
You can find me at simply_Deo on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube whenever I have time. I usually multi-stream if I do stream, so it's on YouTube or Twitch. But yeah, whenever I have time.
Yeah, isn't that the biggest problem of being an adult? And you can find...
Or heckling him during his streams, which he'll tell you in a second.
Deo does heckle me during my streams. You can find my dumb face on Twitter at MalthanusMMO. You can find me live on twitch.tv/MadRealms every Tuesday, usually Thursday, Saturday. Tuesdays and Thursdays are 8. Tuesdays, me and Arlee usually play Guild Wars 2. Tuesday, I think this Tuesday we're bringing back Uno. Arlee, Krista said she was on board. So
good.
We need to find a fourth Deo if you're interested. Then we can also poke Age and see if he's interested. And then Thursdays, I'll probably do more Guild Wars 2 stuff. Maybe I'll actually try and finish farming in order to craft Exordium. But Gen 2 legendaries are a Goram slog. And then, Saturdays is Talking Skritt at usually starting at 4 p.m. Eastern time. But today was a little off. That's fine. It's fine. We're all fine here. How are you? But that's it for our show this evening, ladies and gentlemen. So have a wonderful evening. Hope to see you next time. And catch you later. Bye.